Hi, and welcome back. I'm Sofia. Today's topic is one that millions of people are living right now, quietly, privately, often without anyone around them truly understanding what it costs. Today, we are talking about long-distance relationships, and I want to be honest from the very beginning. I have a deep respect for anyone who chooses this, because choosing to love someone across distance is not the easy path. It is a daily act of faith, a daily decision to hold on to something real that you cannot physically reach. But faith is exhausting when it goes on long enough. And distance, real distance, measured in time zones and airport goodbyes and phone screens that can never replace a hand held in the dark, has a way of testing even the most certain love. Today, 5 people wrote to me about exactly that, about what it actually feels like from the inside. Let's get into it. Now let's read Emma's message. Emma is 28 years old, writing to us from Melbourne, Australia. Sofia, my boyfriend and I have been doing long distance for 2 years. We love each other deeply, but the loneliness is becoming unbearable. Every goodbye at the airport feels like a small heartbreak. I don't know how couples survive this without slowly losing each other. Emma, 2 years of airport goodbyes. What you are carrying is genuinely heavy. And the fact that you are still here says something profound about how real this love is. But loneliness inside a relationship is one of the most specific and painful kinds of loneliness there is. You are committed, faithful, present in every way except the one that matters most on a quiet Tuesday night when you just need someone to sit beside you. The question I would ask is not how do you survive this, but what is the plan? Long distance with no end date is not a relationship on pause. It is a relationship running on hope alone. And hope without a plan eventually runs out. If you and your boyfriend have not had an honest conversation about when and how the distance ends, that is the most important conversation you can have right now. Not to give an ultimatum, but to build a map. Because love without a direction is just longing. Now let's read Isabelle's message. Isabelle is 33, writing to us from Paris, France. My long-distance relationship started because of my partner's job abroad. It was supposed to be temporary, 1 year maximum. It has now been 3 years. Sofia, at what point does temporary become permanent, and how do I have that conversation? Isabelle, 3 years. I think you already know the answer to your first question. Temporary became permanent somewhere around year 2. The fact that you are still calling it temporary tells me neither of you has been willing to say that out loud yet. The longer a couple avoids the hard conversation, the more the relationship runs on assumptions. You assume he knows you are struggling. He assumes you are coping. You both assume something will eventually change. And meanwhile, 3 years pass. You need to have the conversation. Not angry, not an ultimatum, but genuine and open. Where are we going? What does our future actually look like? Is there a real plan to close this distance? These are not unreasonable questions after 3 years. They are the only questions that matter. Now let's read Natasha's message. Natasha is 29, writing to us from Moscow, Russia. My long-distance partner has been growing increasingly distant, fewer calls, shorter messages, taking longer to reply. When I bring it up, he says he is just busy. Sofia, how do I know the difference between someone who is genuinely busy and someone who is slowly pulling away? Natasha, your gut already knows the answer. That is why you wrote to me. Not because you cannot see what is happening, but because seeing it is too painful to sit with alone. When someone wants to be close to you, they find a way. Busy is real. But a sustained pattern of fewer calls, shorter messages, and slower replies, defended only with, "I'm busy," is not a schedule problem. It is a priority problem. The person who loves you and is merely busy will say, "I know I have been absent. I am sorry. This is temporary." The person who is pulling away will say, "I am just busy," every time, without repair. Pay attention to which one you are hearing. Now let's read Claire's message. Claire is 31, writing to us from Toronto, Canada. Sofia, I have been in a long-distance relationship for 18 months, and I have started to wonder if I'm in love with the idea of him rather than the actual person. When we are together, it feels different from what I imagined. How do I know what is real? Claire, This is one of the most honest and self-aware questions I have received about long distance, and it deserves an equally honest answer. Long distance creates a very particular kind of intimacy, deep, intense, often beautiful. You talk for hours, share your innermost thoughts, and build a version of each other composed entirely of the best moments and most careful words. And then, you are together in person. And suddenly there is someone who leaves dishes in the sink and gets quiet when stressed, and is not always the person from the phone calls. That is not a sign the love is false. It is a sign you are finally meeting the full person. The question is whether you love that person, the real, complete, imperfect one, or the carefully curated version that distance created. You can only answer that by spending real, sustained, ordinary time together. Not visits, not weekends, real time. If that is not possible right now, then that itself is important information. And now, let's read our final message. This one is from May. May is 27, from Shanghai, China. Sofia, my girlfriend and I are from different countries. Even when the long distance ends, one of us will have to leave everything behind. Family, friends, career. Sofia, how do couples decide who makes the sacrifice? And how do you live without resentment after? May. This question cuts to the heart of what makes international long distance uniquely complicated. It is not just about closing the distance, it is about who pays the price for closing it. Resentment almost never comes from the sacrifice itself. It comes from feeling like the sacrifice was not seen, not honored. The practical decision of who moves depends on careers, family situations, and honest assessment of flexibility. But the emotional architecture matters just as much. The person who moves needs to feel, genuinely, every single day, that what they gave up is understood and valued. And the person who stayed needs to build something new together, not just welcome their partner into an existing life. That is how you live without resentment. Not by pretending the sacrifice wasn't real, but by making sure it was worth it. 5 messages today. 5 people navigating one of the most demanding forms of love that exists. Loving someone across the space between you, day after day, with nothing but faith and phone screens to hold onto. Long distance is not impossible, but it requires something most relationships never have to consciously develop. The ability to love someone you cannot reach, to trust something you cannot see, to choose each other every single day from the other side of a screen. If you are living this right now, I see you, and the love you are carrying is real. Whatever you decide to do with it, what topic do you want us to cover next? Drop it in the comments. Your question might just become our next episode. If today meant something to you, please like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Sofia. Take care of your heart.